Welcome back to the City Street Finance Report training videos. In this segment, we're going to look at the Equipment Inventory Sheet. The Iowa Administrative Code, Chapter 178, requires cities to report the cost of purchasing, leasing, or renting equipment that is used for maintenance and or construction work on roads, streets, culverts, bridges, etc., as well as the use of such equipment on construction, reconstruction, or improvement projects within the city. Equipment is only reported on this tab if it is used for street work and it is one of the following. It is self-propelled, it is motorized, or it is not self-propelled, but it had an initial cost of over $5,000. Equipment that is not self-propelled but is used exclusively for snow or ice removal does not need to be reported. This means plow blades that are $8,000 or slide-in sanding units, those type of things don't get reported. So what kind of things do get reported? Definitely city trucks, dump trucks, skid loaders, end loaders, tractors, anything you're out using to do maintenance or construction on your city streets. So let's look at the equipment tab. The equipment sheet should load from last year. Everything that you had on last year's sheet should be preloaded for you. You'll need to go through your list and make sure that what you have on there should be on there and hasn't changed. A loader, pickups, tractor, street sweeper, grader, dump trucks, backhoe, etc. If you need to change them, go into Edit and change its status. So if you traded it this year, then you mark it as traded and click Save. And then next year it won't be on the list anymore. If you sold it, maybe you sold this one instead of trade it, you can go ahead and mark it as sold and it'll pop off the list next year. If you need to add something new, click Add New Row. If you have your own city ID number, you have multiple trucks so that you have them numbered or labeled somehow, you can certainly enter that. The model year, maybe we bought a 2020. Description, better descriptions make for better searches. So the more specific you can be, the better. I'm going to take the shorthand version for it right now and just put in truck. Maybe it's an F550. Did we buy it, rent it, or lease it? We bought it. So that the purchase cost is what you would have paid for it if you would have paid the entire amount. So if I had a trade-in and that trade-in took $10,000 off, the purchase cost is actually what it cost you without that trade-in. So if it's a $60,000 truck, but you only really paid $50,000 for it, it's still a $60,000 truck. Was it used on a road project this fiscal year? So we're going to talk about projects on the next tab. Projects aren't just maintenance. So it has to be more than maintenance. If it's used on a maintenance project, that doesn't count. It has to be a construction project or a improvement or a reconstruction project. If it falls into that level and it hits the threshold of being over 90% of the bid threshold, then it possibly was a project. The majority of cities are never going to have a project that you qualify for that you used your own equipment on. There just aren't that many cities doing their own construction that are going to fall into this category. So categorically, I would say no to that. In rare instances, you will have a yes. And again, that's really the bigger cities that are building their own roads, doing their own big overhaul projects. And then equipment status. This one obviously is new. Potentially, if it was something you were leasing, you could have had a lease on there as well. Put it in as new, it adds to your list. If you realize, oops, I really didn't need it, as long as it's labeled as new, you do have the ability to delete it back off the list. So if you need to take something off, if you switch it to new, it gives you the delete option. And that's all there is for putting equipment in on the equipment tab. Remember, if you ever want to check the equipment listing, you can always click in the menu on the left-hand side, Road Street Equipment. It will tell you
all about the equipment that's required by Iowa code to be put into this page and allow you to search by city, by model year, and by description.